Fine. Hi guys, welcome to Be Learning, and I'm Lavanya Elangovan, your science educator. Guys, fine. So am I audible to you? I think it is clear, right? And my video is also clear, right? No glitches, nothing. Yeah. So then we'll start the session, right? And by this time, you know what Be Learning is, right? Be Learning is an online education platform where we give quality education for all students. And here at Vistaslearning, we help students to stay on schedule, value their time, and also excel in their academics. So do subscribe to our channel, like, share, right? And also share it with your friends, family members, relatives, because someone out there will have the access to quality education. So having said that, let's start today's session. One of my favorite session is this. Right, so no further delays. We'll just start our session. So can you recall and tell me like what we are dealing now? Yes. Yes, it is heredity and evolution. We've successfully completed our 2 chapters, life processes and control and coordination, right? And we also started this heredity and evolution, our previous class. And we had small, like, elaborate session on what heredity is exactly. Right. So now we'll come to a conclusion. In this particular session, you will learn like how this particular heredity came, or how did they formulate all those things, all those variations, traits, and all those things. How did they formulate it? Right. That we'll be discussing in today's session. Right. Fine. So yeah, it is all about heredity in today's session. Good. Inherited traits. Can you just recall and tell me like what is this called as? What is traits first? Then tell me like what is inherited. What are traits? Traits are very simple. The characters, right? The characters which is actually visible to us. Excuse me. To our naked eyes. How is the hair colored? What is the eye color? See, mostly we Indians will have the black and brown shade. But when we are talking about the Western countries, the foreigners especially, they'll be having different colors in their eyes. Right? It will be so good to look at their eyes. Right? So those things are called as variation. Even like hair also. We Indians will mostly have this black. Some will have a dark brown, like natural hair, not the colors. Yeah, so naturally we'll have this black and brown shade. But again, in Western countries like near the Arctic and Arctic zone, they'll be having different shades in their color. They have blonde, they have brown, right? So those are called the variations actually, right? So that is exactly called as the characters or the traits. So this is the exact definition for traits. Just make a note. An inherited trait is a one that is genetically determined. Okay. And inherited traits are passed from parents to the offspring. And you know what offspring is, right? So offspring is nothing but the generation or the next generation, we say, right? So that you can either specify this word as offspring, or you can also have another word like progeny. That also you'll come across here. So progeny, right? That also you can use here, but most preferably we use offsprings. Fine. So make a note of this definition. An inherited trait is the one that is genetically determined. And inherited traits are passed from parents to the offspring. Just recall our previous session. We were discussing about the reproduction, right? Asexual and sexual. And we came to a conclusion that in asexual, the variations is not possible because the daughters are complete carbon copies of the parents. Right. But in sexual, variations are possible because 2 parents are involved. 2 will have a different characters. And they'll be sharing half of their gametes, right? Half of their chromosomes they'll share. And that half will contain the entire information of that particular single parent. So when 2 of them are sharing, different variations are, differences are there. Right. Diversity is more like that. Fine. Yeah, examples I'll just show you. Earlobe attachment. See, when you see people's ears, when you look at my ear, it is actually detached. It is not attached, it is completely detached. It is free actually, where I can wear a lot of big earrings also I can wear. It is detached. When you see other people, Some will also have an attached earlobe. That is like the heredity, that is what we call. And dimples, I don't get. But some people will have dimples, curly hair, I have a wavy hair. Some will have a curly hair. Fine. So those things are all the variations or the examples. Fine. This is clear. So make a note of this. I'm going to tell you a very small situation. So here when you see, you can see this. She is a woman that you can know. And look at her hair. Yeah. And the color of her eyes. It is blue. And this man, brown. He is fully brown. And he's having a brown hair and a brown eyes. So we'll just consider them to be parents. Mother and a father. Okay. And when they produce their offspring, how will the particular boy be? Boy or a girl? Irrespective of gender. How will that offspring be? It will be a combination of this mom and a combination of this dad. Right? So what all can the particular offspring have? Hair color. It can have brown. It can have this black. Iris, the eye color. It can have blue or it can have brown. Right? It can have anything. What if, I'll just show you this. Can you see this boy? He's having a very light brown hair color. And he's having blue eyes. Right? He's got a blue eyes. Maybe it would have passed from his mother directly to him. Right? What if he's got a black eyes? See, his father has got brown eyes. Mother has got a blue eye. But what if he got black eyes? From where will he get it? There's a question. Right? Yeah. And the hair color again. The hair color. Can you see? It is neither black nor this deep brown. It is somewhat blonde or a coffee color. We can say like that. From where he would have got this? If it is just the combination of a mom and dad, how is this particular variation happening? What is this? How is it happening? Yes, have you ever thought? In your family, has anybody got this cat eyes? It will be so good to see those eyes, right? Yeah, in Indians and I'm talking, in your family members, or have you ever come across the people's eyes? It will be like somewhat pista green color their iris will be. It will be so good to see. We'll say like they are having cat eyes. Right? Have you come across them? From where are they getting their eyes? Or even you. Check your eye color, fine, that will be same. But check your hair texture, like how it is. Is it straight or curly or wavy? From where are you getting those or inheriting those characters? Is it from your parents? No. Then from where? See, you would have heard your mother or dad telling like your nose is looking like your grandpa. Or your forehead is looking like your uncle or aunt. Like, have you come across these words? How is your aunts or uncles or grandpa's characters coming in you? How? So there is something getting passed on, right? Your mother might not have a curly hair. Your grandpa might have a curly hair. And you might have a curly hair. Like, it has skipped to one generation and it has passed. So where was the curly hair all this while? The one entire generation, it was absent. And in the next generation or in the third generation, it popped up again. So where it was hiding all this while? A question mark arises, right? But in order to tell or reveal those answers only, this chapter is an amazing chapter. It's a magical chapter, as you say always. Fine. Yeah. See, like these questions, I mean, all these questions, even this particular scientist got in his mind. So he's Gregor Mendel. He's a monk actually. Fine. So he was thinking, oh my God, so how is all these variations happening? Let's go figure it out. And then he started studying all these traits or all these inherited characters. Fine. And in which he studied. First, he started with animals only. Fine. It is said like he has started his experiments on rats or the mice. Okay. On mice. But it didn't work out well because animal reproduction, we cannot control it. Right, and they'll be having a longer lifespan, where their reproductive cycle is a bit longer. So he didn't get good results. Then what happened? He shifted to honeybees. Even in honeybees, same thing only. They are insects. He cannot actually control the reproduction in them. Excuse me. So what he did, like he jumped to pea plants. You know what are pea plants, right? I'll show you in some time. So he just shipped to those pea plants, and then he did lots and lots of experiments with those pea plants, and he formulated 3 laws, right? And that stands as the base for this genetics of this modern world. And so on, he is also called as father of genetics, because he is the one formulated all those laws, paid his gave entire his heart and soul and prepared those laws. Right, now we'll study how he did it. Okay, in pea plants especially, how it worked or how he did, we'll study. Yeah. And the laws, whatever I said, he formulated 3 laws, right? So those laws altogether, we'll say them as law of inheritance. Okay, something which is passing from the parents to the offspring. And those parents are getting the characters from their parents. Right, so that particular pathway, you call that to be inheritance. So he developed the law of inheritance. Please make a note of this. Clear? Now we'll just move on to the next. Yeah, this is pea plants. You know this. One of my favorite dishes. So I like this a lot. Right? So this is the piece with which he started his experiments. And it worked out well. That's the thing which we have to see. Fine. So why did he choose pea plants? A question arises. Say why he chose mice and honeybees and it didn't work out, because he can control their reproduction there. But here in pea plants it is possible. Right, so that is why he chose this pea plants. So the first point is he can control their fertilization. Right, when to happen, what to happen. He can control it because they are plants. They don't have wings to fly and go out either. They have their legs to walk in. So it is stationary, it is motile, and or it is not movable. It is not mobile. And so the fertilization is in his hands. Number 2, the lifespan. It has a very short lifespan. So in that lifespan, it will start and it will end so soon. Okay, so that is why he chose pea plants. He could have chose mango, or he could have also chose apple. The mangoes, all if he has taken, he has to wait for a year, because mangoes are seasonal fruit, right? He has to wait for 1 entire year. But here, it is in pea plants, they are very small plants that you know, and their lifespan is really very, very short, right? And then the third point is lot of characters. Okay, I'll tell you what are those characters exactly. Fine. So what exactly are those characters? Or before I just show you that particular slide, I just wanted you to think what are those characters. Is that clear? Fine. Just think what it might be. Green peas, you can see my background. They are green peas, they are round. Okay, they are inside their pods. Okay, so during dispersion, they'll break open, they'll disperse. So yes, what all the characters does a pea plant have? Or what are the variations? Have you seen only this green peas, or have you seen peas in some other color as well? Huh? I'll show you. Fine, before. Yes. First character is height. Pea plants can either be tall or short. See, they can be taller to some extent, to some height. And they can be dwarf, very, very small, short pea plants. Number 2, pea shape. Say round peas you would have seen. You would have also seen these wrinkled peas, right? Perfect round peas how it was in my background in my previous slide. So peas usually we'll prefer that peas only because it is good looking and it is tasty also. Wrinkled peas are also there in the market. So that is the difference in them. And then you have flower color. They can either be purple or they can be white. See, these are white flowers. And these are the purple flowers. Is that clear? And then pea color. They can either be yellow or they can be green. See, how much of variations are there in this? Is that clear? Yes. So these are the different characters a pea plant possesses. Is that clear? Fine. Shall I just proceed? So next. So Mendel's law, we'll just discuss on this particular Mendel's law. So two experiments led to the formulation of Mendel's laws known as law of inheritance, which are first one, law of dominance. You actually know this word, dominance, dominating, somebody's coming and dominating you. Yeah, so this word, have that in your mind. So law of dominance. Second, law of segregation, like separation, we say, right? Segregation. And third, law of independent assortment. So independent characters, what a particular plant here, the plant, right? So plant has and how it is getting exhibited there. Is it coming together or in a combined state or in a different state or in an individual state it is getting exhibited? So these are the three different laws which comes under this law of inheritance. Is it clear? Law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. So guys, pay attention. We are going to deal with the next subject, okay? Pay attention, right? Yeah. First experiment which explains us about this law of dominance and law of segregation. Fine. So here what is happening? This is also called as monohybrid cross. I'll tell you why it is called as a monohybrid. Fine. So here Mendel has taken one variation, like tall and short. Only one variation he is going to observe in the first case. Tall plant, he is going to cross-pollinate with a dwarf plant. Simple. How is he going to excuse me. So how is he going to do this fertilization process? Simple. He is going to take the pollen grains from this plant, put it in the ovary of this plant. Simple. Or the other way. Take the pollen grains from here, put it in this, whatever. Fine. So he is just cross-pollinating this two. So as a result, what you get is like you will get a lot of pigments. Right? I just wanted you to look at their height. See, this is tall plant getting crossed with the dwarf plant. But here, to our surprise, it is not a medium size. All plants are tall. Fine. So this is F1 generation, the first generation. Okay, we'll just assume they're like pea plants are there before our ancestors also, but still here we'll just assume it like this. Like tall plants, he cross-pollinated with the dwarf plants here, and he came across this F1 generation, okay, where all plants are tall. He was like shocked. Oh my God, how is this happening? Fine. So this F1 generation, what he did is like, he took that one F1 generation plant. Okay, so from this, he just took one plant and he self-pollinated. You know self-pollination, right? So taking the pollen grains off that flower and putting it in the same flower. Right, so he self-pollinated that. So as a result, what you will get the next generation. Right, first generation is taking that one plant, self-pollinating it. So as a result, you will get the F2 generation there. F2 generation, he was shocked. Like tall plants were there and dwarf plants also were there. Are you shocked? Even I. When I was reading this, I was also shocked. Like how Mendel got shocked, I was also shocked. See here, when he self-pollinated the F1 generation plant, he got the tall plants and he got this dwarf plants also. See, make sure he didn't get a medium size. He's not going to get medium size at all. Only tall and short. Okay. Tall and short. Okay. Fine. So this one, to his surprise, he got it in this ratio only. So just make sure of this ratio because this is very, very important. 3:1 ratio. Is that clear? So very important ratio. The numbers are very important. It's not like he got 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plant. No, not like that. He planted hectares and hectares in which the ratio is like that. Okay, 300. It can be 100. It can be 600. It can be 200. Okay, so the ratio, just have the ratio in your mind. It is like 3:1, which he got. Fine. And here, I just wanted you to look at this. He just mentioned this. Tall T. So this is something which is present inside their chromosomes. Okay, so this tall T, short T is something which they are present. Okay, the characters, we can assume like the tall plant or the tall T is something which will denote the taller plant. And small t is something which will denote the shorter plant. Okay, so this means that this particular T, tall T and short T, or the capital T and the small t is something which is present inside there. It means that, right? It is present inside their ovary, inside their sperm. It is meant that. It is so obvious after self-pollinating them. It is so obvious. So what is this? So why this particular plant in the previous generation, why it didn't express? Why didn't express? So it is there, but it didn't express, which means something else has dominated it. Which means the tall trait has dominated the short trait. That is why in the F1 generation it didn't exhibit. But when we self-pollinated it, in the next generation it exhibited. Is that clear? So this tall T was a dominant trait there. This short T, the recessive trait, was also there, but it was not dominating, but it is present. It is not exhibited in that generation, but it is exhibited in the next generation. Is this clear? Fine. So this is called as a law of dominance. Okay, so law of dominance says nothing, but it just tells like which some trait is dominating in one particular generation. Is that clear? So that is what it is telling. Fine, this is clear. So now can you come across, like I was asking in the previous slide one question, how did this particular boy get black eyes? So now we would have come to a conclusion that the parents must not have, the parents didn't have the black eyes, but a generation before them might have the black eyes, which was recessive in their parents' generation and it exhibited in his generation. Is this clear? Fine. So this says the law of dominance. Now, here, this ratio, we'll talk about this ratio in the next slide. Okay, so this ratio, how did this 3:1 arise? So this tall T and short T is something which is present in the sperms and the eggs. Okay, so because we took the trait from this particular flower only, no? So sperm, it will actually get divided into two. The sex determination, which we learned in the previous class, just recall that, where each and every in each and every gamete it will get divided, right? It will get divided x in females, and in males it is like x and y, so it gets divided, right? So likewise here also everything will get divided when it is coming for a reproduction part. In all the other cells it will be present in a combined form, but when it is coming for reproduction it will get divided. So that is why it has got divided like T, capital T, which has a dominant trait in it, and the next gamete, which is the small t, which has a recessive trait in it. Right? And the same thing for the egg also. Fine. So in the egg also it is the tall t and the small t. So tall t is something which will have the dominant trait in that particular egg. And small t is something which will have a recessive trait in its egg. Okay, now we are just going to cross-pollinate, or the pollination, the fertilization is going to happen here. Fertilization, the process where sperm fuses with the egg. Right, so in this case, this T, it has a lot of chances. It has got two chances. It can either fertilize this egg, which has a capital T or a dominant trait in it, or it can fertilize the short T, which has a recessive trait in it, or vice versa. Here the small t, which is recessive, can go and fertilize the egg which is dominant, or it can fertilize the egg which is recessive. This is clear? So this is what we are just going to put it in the tabular column. When we put it in the tabular column, it's going to be really easy. Okay, if you just do it, monohybrid cross, it is fine. But when we are dealing with the dihybrid cross, it's going to be so fun. Right? So just put it in the tabular column. That will be easy. See, I just made this blue because just to denote it is male. So that is why I've written here also blue. So pink, that's my favorite color. So I've just put pink for female. Okay. So now when this T and this T crosses, what will happen? You will get TT, which means this was a taller plant because all the dominant trait is present in that particular plant. Here, capital T and small t, no use. It's going to be just like this only. This plant was also tall, no, in the F1 generation. So here also it is going to be tall only. Tall, and the small t is going to be recessive, which might get expressed in their next generation. But for this generation, it is there, but it is not expressive. It is recessive. So next, small t with this capital T. Okay. So small t and capital T, they are going to just multiply it, or the fertilization process. Okay. The same thing, just like this. Okay. It is also having a dominant trait and a recessive trait. Last, see, small t into small t. Very simple. So this one plant is going to be dwarf. Can you now come to a conclusion? How did you get 3:1? Because 3 plants are going to be tall and 1 plant is going to be short or dwarf. And that is called the law of segregation. How is it getting divided? Why it is getting divided? Because in gametes, it will have one trait. One gamete will have one trait there. Okay, or one sperm will have one trait. The next, another sperm will have another trait. Because it cannot have 2 characters in one sperm. It will get divided. That is what we learned, right? So it will get divided. So that division, how is it getting distributed? So the law of segregation says that. And here only, you're getting this ratio 3:1. Is it clear? So 3 tall plants, 1 small plant or 1 dwarf plant. Okay? So yeah, this story. Coming back to the same story here where the older story, like the mother had a blue eyes, black eyes. And here I've just changed a bit. See, when you look at this very closely, mother is having brown eyes. Father is also having brown eyes. But the kid has got blue eyes. How? Now you can tell me the answer, right? Very easily. How did the kid or how did the child get the blue eyes? It all inherited from its parents, right? So it just inherited from the parents, or not from the parents, from their grandparents. Okay, so grandparents had the blue eyes, which was recessive in this generation, okay, and it got exhibited in his generation. Is this clear with this monohybrid cross and the law of dominance and segregation? Was this clear? Right? Because we will be discussing about this dihybrid cross, which is really very, very important. Fine? And I'll tell you this dihybrid cross we will be discussing in our next session. Is that clear? Fine. Is it clear? Okay. So I'll just show you this last slide for you. Clear? Yeah, because in the dihybrid cross, we will be discussing about this law of independent assortment, which means where the individual traits are getting expressed. See, when we are looking at us, not only one character is getting from your parents, right? You're getting a lot of characters. That is what I was telling about the earlobe attachment, the iris, the hair, your height, your skin texture, your color. Everything is a character, which you are acquiring from your parents only. Or, yeah, so you're getting it from your parents. All these characters are from your parents. And your parents, they're getting it from their parents, right? So there are lots and lots of variations. And Mendel, he came across one particular very good variation. Like here, he used 2 crosses. So that is why it is called as a dihybrid cross. Because he used 2 characters. And in the next session, I'll reveal you what are those characters. Is it clear? So I'll be telling you what exactly, like whether it is tall, short, or the purple flower or white flower, or round and wrinkled, or it can also be yellow piece with a green piece. It can be anything. So keep thinking. I'll reveal that in my next session. Okay. So pay attention for all these notes because this is something which is really, really very, very important. Okay. And I just wanted you to recall all those things. Take notes as I say always and revise those notes, please. And those tabular columns all, just you multiply it. Okay. Just you multiply it and you come to a conclusion. Fine. Is it clear? So yes. So until I just meet you in my next session, this is me, Lavanya Elangovan, signing off from Learning. Take care. Bye-bye. So until I just meet in my next session, as I always say, please revise it. Please go through all the notes and look at the other videos also. Other subjects videos you can take, you can have a go through like physics, chemistry, math, social, everything is happening. So look at those videos also. Take notes. Revise those notes, and if you have any doubt, just come to our website v-learning.com. So you just come to our website there, and you will be getting lots and lots of notes which we have prepared for you. Is that clear? So this is Lavanya signing off from Learning. Okay, bye bye.